The Weekly Warp Pipe.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Weekly Warp Pipe, a podcast dedicated to retro video games, 80s and 90s toys, and all things nostalgia. And this week, we're going to jump in that warp pipe, go back, and take a look at some new retro games coming out. New games, and possibly, I guess, we're going to discuss some Rom Hack games as well. What's up, Jay?
What's up? I'm excited to talk about this topic. Who brought this to our attention? Did someone request this?
I believe someone did. I didn't write it down, so I don't have the exact
Way to
person's
put
name.
you on the spot, right?
But I thought it would be a good topic, and I didn't know if we should split it up into just Homebrews for one episode and Rom Hacks for the other. But Jay's like, we can mix and mingle them, because he was like, I didn't really know too much of a difference.
Yeah,
right?
yes. So if I'm correct, the difference is a ROM hack is a previous ROM that's already been made, like let's say The Legend of Zelda, that's been hacked and turned into like another game. Like Russ was saying earlier, like, they might move dungeons or items or sprites might be slightly altered or things like that.
Right.
And then a homebrew is like a completely brand new game, but could be for like a retro console. Like,
Right.
you just bought a Cabbage Patch or Garbage Pail Kids game.
Right. I have a few here off to the side at the house that I did purchase that I want to talk about. But not just Nintendo. They got new games coming out for N64.
Right.
Like, so a whole bunch. So it's like, oh, what? Like that game, the console's 30 years old. People are still making games for it.
Right. Which is cool.
Right. So maybe we could go back and talk a little bit when we first discovered these, maybe some games that we purchased essentially. And especially now how they're distributed different ways as well. Because I remember, I think my story would be I was at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, just cruising around on the floor, and I seen a booth set up with a couple CRT TVs, and these people were showcasing their game, and I was like, "What is this? Like, it's for Nintendo?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's like a new game that we developed, and we're trying to showcase it here." And I thought it'd be cool to maybe pick it up. I was like, I like Nintendo, and this is like a platformer-ish style game. So I picked it up, and it was called Haunted Halloween 85.
Ooh, I like this. I like the name.
And so the guys are Retrotainment, and the game Haunted Halloween 85 kind of plays like a beat 'em up style game. You're thinking almost like a River City Ransom, but you're not getting money and stuff like that, but it's, I guess, a mix between that and Double Dragon or whatever.
Okay.
And I had a great time with it. I was like one of the first to do a review of the game, so it's still on my YouTube channel because the convention was in October, so it fit perfect, like Halloween horror game. So that was like my special. And I have kept in contact with these guys over the years, and they then released Haunted Halloween 86. They came out with as well as the sequel. Let's see. So down here they have Haunted Halloween 86.
The next year, the sequel, nice.
Right. And it's cool, take 1985, so they have like cool humor and this and that. But they ended up getting this on like Xbox and Steam and stuff like that. So it got a whole new audience where you're like, oh, you can play it on the modern consoles. But if you're a purist and you want to play on actual NES hardware, you're able to
I'm
do
loving
that
the colors. They have very vibrant carts. Like that one's like a clear, either a lime green or a neon yellow. Hard to tell which one it is. Maybe green.
Right. And then the other Haunted Halloween 86 is like a orange.
That's like a pumpkin orange.
Yeah.
Iridescent pumpkin orange is the color I'm going to call it.
So which is cool too, because these are essentially new carts, new molds, new plastic that they're making here. So that's also another topic essentially you could talk about where with ROM hacks, a lot of times you're taking existing carts where you're like, oh, okay, let me take this. You're going to tear the label off of it, take that board, unsolder a chip and put a new chip on it, and then slap a new label on it. And now it's It's a new game.
You know,
So
I don't know that that's the route they might take. They could probably just order a gray card that looks original.
so you can, yes, that you could, but that is also not the most cost effective way.
That is
You're
true.
looking to make money off of it. If you're like, "Hey, I can get 10 copies of Ice Hockey for $8 and turn them into whatever game it is," um, then that's cheaper than going, "Hey, I gotta go order off of AliExpress, 50 gray shells to make my games."
See,
It's
now
annoying.
you're thinking, Russ, because that was something I hadn't even considered. The fact that it is. See, I'm thinking of it as a purist. I'm like, who
Mhm.
would ruin a perfectly good NES cart? And you're like, no, they don't want to. They don't care about ruining it. They just want to make money. I'm like, ah, okay.
Right. And I know a few people who do make ROM hacks and whatnot. And some are cool, some are like, okay, like this game didn't come out here in the United States. It only came out in Japan, and we want to bring that over to the United States on a NES cart. Much like, oh, did you find what is that?
Holy diver.
Holy Diver. Yes, great example. That game was only on the, I guess, Famicom, right? Or
Yeah,
maybe it, yeah. Oh, and you got the box too? So
yeah.
when did you get this? Because I know they did do a recent release of this game.
My buddy Philip is he a couple years ago he bought whatever that machine is to do ROM hacks, and he's made me several games. He took oh man, what game that was it? A Styanax? He took some game and turned it into a Shatterhand for me one time
Right.
before I got
Well,
my real copy of Shatterhand.
we could touch on that a bit too. But yeah, so Holy Diver was based on it's kind of like I would say plays kind of like a Castlevania Ninja Gaiden,
Castlevania Ninja Gaiden esque, yeah, mixed together.
but it's based on Dio.
Yep,
And it has like other nods to like heavy metal artists in the United States.
yeah.
Um, but they did do, I have seen recently, like within a few years, 2 years or something, you can buy from, I believe the company is Retro Bit,
Okay.
and they did like a package where you can get, a complete in box copy of this and all that jazz with it.
But when you have a buddy Philip, you don't need that. He makes it for you for free.
Which brings up another point is with these carts, only certain games can make other games. So, like I mentioned before, maybe you get 10 copies of Ice Hockey. That's only going to make a certain other type of game. You can't make, they do a lot of Earthbound, ROM hacks, Mother,
Mother,
essentially,
yeah,
for the NES. And you could only maybe, I don't know what carts it is, but maybe it's only Final Fantasy cart, like another
right.
uh, genre
RPG.
game there, because then you have all the right ROM chips
Yep.
with that. And you might have to add some stuff. But I picked up one that was like Super Princess Peach or something where you played as Peach instead of Mario.
Yeah,
But it was Mario Brothers 1 kind of, but you're playing as the sprite almost from Mario Brothers 2 of Princess Peach.
but in a Mario 1 game.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was kind of the first like ROM hack. Oh, it was called Funny Princess. That was the name of it.
Funny princess. That's funny. No pun
Um,
intended.
but yeah, I did pick up other games. Unfortunately, I don't have my whole collection here at the game studio here, but one of the more recent ones I picked up here is Full Quiet, which I've done a ton of live streams of this game. This is a NES game,
I
and
wonder if
again,
they're a fan of Joy Division.
oh maybe. And Retrotainment, again, is the same company, Haunted Halloween 85. I've done a ton of live streams of this, and this is a really large adventure game. I've probably done maybe 3 or 4 live streams of this, and I did a little short review on my YouTube channel. Um, I can't beat the game though; it's tough, so I
Yeah.
might have to come back to it.
The
But I,
front cover looks very Joy Division esque.
they do have other covers. I was a Kickstarter backer, so I ended up getting this type of cover. Um, but there was other covers that were more simple in
Hmm.
design. And then I did also just pick this up. I went to PAX East and they had a table there, so I did pick up the Garbage Pail Kids, Mad Mike, and the Quest. for stale gum is the full.
I'm jealous of that. Oops, I just dropped my cart.
So nice complete in box, and it does come. They love these like see-through colors. I have the blue one, which is the more common one. There is a pink one that is more rare. But you can see through this. This is a new board, a new shell, and everything. And actually, since it's see-through, you can kind of see their logo through the cart right there.
So is that a crucifix? Just kidding.
It's like a figure eight thing.
It's an infinity sign.
The
I was trying to say like a pentagram, but I couldn't get it out.
The company is infiniteneslives.com.
Which is why they have the
that does the
infinity
board.
logo.
Right. So I did a live stream of this one as well, and it's a fun
Is it pretty
platformer.
fun?
It's really fun. Yeah. It's like you can choose Mega Man style what level you want to play as, and you do have the option to switch between, I believe, 4 Garbage Pail Kids on the fly, and they each have their own unique abilities. I didn't beat it yet. I was very close on the live stream, but I played it for 2 hours on the live stream, and you could probably beat it in 3. And it does have a difficulty setting as well.
Do you indeed search for chewed gum?
That's your quest in it.
Does he chew it when he gets it?
I
Like
that would
find it
probably
under
be
a table and like pop it in his mouth?
so each level is you're getting an ingredient to make said gum. So you
Oh,
need to go to this place to get the whatever powder, and this place to get whatever else goes into it. So we'll see. We'll eventually make the stale gum.
there you go.
Um,
Stale gum because they're making a joke about the fact that the stale gum was in the packs.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
like a pack of cards, a garbage pail.
Yeah,
Cards you would
back
get.
in the 80s, you got a pack of cards, and there was a piece of gum so hard you would break your teeth off. And that's how you make it.
But we could touch on another time. I do have some other games we'll bring up as well, but I also did want to touch on so pricing with this. I picked this up. I think I want to say I paid like $70.
Yeah, that's like a PS5 game.
Right. I paid that, and I think Full Quiet was like 50, I want to say. And again, these are complete in box. So some of the games you're able to get cart only, so it might be a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
But then Garbage Pail Kids, you can pick up on Steam. It's like $5. So it's
Yeah,
like,
but
do
I'm a
you want to play
purist.
the game, or are you purist and you want to have
I want
the
that
physical
clear
copy?
cart. I want the
So
clear pink cart so I can one
right.
up you.
So you kind of dabble between that, because now that we're in the digital age, it's more accessible to get these games to people, and so you can go onto the Steam shop and get a lot of these games for pretty cheap prices, because Steam always has sales and they're pushing this. With Haunted Halloween 85, I think 85 is on there. I know 86 is on there. For whatever reason, they got that one on there first. And I think that was like maybe $10. And then they had a sale on like Switch. I got it on Switch as well to play on there. So it's interesting to play the NES games on the modern consoles. But it's cool that these companies, because maybe sometimes they're not making a whole lot of money selling the games. Okay, we could get it out to thousands of more people if it's on the digital eShop and you're
Russ,
reaching more people.
you know the old song "Video Killed the Radio Star"? They're
Yes,
gonna
yes.
update it. Digital killed the video star.
Very well. I mean, the new gen consoles had digital only version, at least PlayStation did. Like
Yeah.
PS5, you could buy digital only, no slot in there for a disc. All your games are going to be digital. I'm like, who would buy that? Even if you only wanted to play digital, like keep the maybe you want to watch a Blu-ray. Like
Maybe, yeah. That's the only reason I have a PS3.
there you go. I'm sure many
Blu-ray.
people bought the PS3 because of that. I mean, even the PS2, because it plays DVDs, like
Yeah.
that sold so much. Now we're going far off topic about
Sorry.
homebrews.
So here's one that my good friend Jennifer JLove81 sent me. It's called Wario Bros. And it's basically Super Mario Brothers, but with the Wario Brothers. So, but it is like it's not the exact layout of the original Mario on NES. It's a variation. So I think this is a hack. I don't think it's a homebrew.
Yeah, something like that. They're just changing some of the levels, in the color palettes. There's quite a few that've come out. Well, if I could pull up on my SNES on my NES Classic, my friend added, I must have like 50 Mario hacks
Oh
of
wow,
all different like shapes and forms that people came out and like some of them I'll just play for like a few minutes where I'm like, I don't dig it, like I don't like it. Um, but there's some fun ones. So I played one that was really fun, not Mario, but NES. They took Friday the 13th and they did a ROM hack of it, and it's Freddy versus Jason.
that's cool.
And you play as Freddy Krueger going around to kill Jason, and your weapon ends up being the pitchfork in the game, but it's Freddy's claw. So he like
Okay,
throws his claw. And it's pretty unique. So I had a good time playing that. They did it both ways too, where it was, you play as Jason and then you're going to fight Freddy or vice versa.
that's cool.
And then they've done other ones where, what game did they use? I think it was Power Blade 1 where they turned it into a Captain America game.
Oh,
It
nice.
kind of switched out the sprite with that. Or even today I was live streaming Shadow of the Ninja,
Yeah.
and it's a ninja game where you can play as 2 ninjas at once.
Oh,
Um,
you can play with them at once?
I'm pretty sure
Oh,
you
like a
can
2 like 2 player, you mean?
2 player at the same time, like both ninjas are on screen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And, someone told me in the chat, someone did a ROM hack of this and made it Batman and Robin. Like, they switched out the
Oh,
sprites
that's sick.
as Batman and Robin. I was like, that's cool. That actually will look pretty sweet." So people have done that where they tweaked certain, aspects of that. Another great franchise was Castlevania, and that has tons of, different versions of it where they'll change out the color palette a little bit.
Mhm.
They did a ton with Simon's Quest where the people don't speak the gibberish anymore. They actually give you
Give you proper clues.
proper clues. They have one where it shows the blocks that, the hidden blocks that you would fall through. It shows those, like, so you can see them. So it makes it a little bit easier with that.
That's nice. What, did they just give, like, a transparency on it or something?
Yeah, they did something where, I mean, I think in the game you can see that if you equip um Dracula's
Dracula's
eye.
eye?
Right.
Yeah.
So they probably just have that somehow in the
Oh,
code,
the
like,
if not, you have to use holy water.
right, and just keep throwing it.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's almost sky's the limit. I know my buddy John Riggs does a few ROM hacks for
Yeah,
sure.
he does.
And he even came out with his own game. I did end up purchasing it. It was Bebe Kids.
That's
So
funny.
I picked that up. It's kind of like a puzzle platformer-ish game.
Okay.
Kind of like a Bubble
Gotcha.
Bobble-ish, like
Like a
plays like that.
Kickle Cubicle kinda game?
Yeah, it's like you're on one screen, you defeat the enemies, and you move to the next screen essentially. So I picked that one. I picked up a lot of them. Funny enough, was at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, which I am excited I will be back at this year. It's in October. But I guess just the scene over there is real big. They have Atari Age there, and they actually have a lot of like Atari, ColecoVision, new games that come out, and like it's so awesome to see with games that are coming out for the old system, but what they're doing with them now. Like, because we have 30 years of experience of like other games that come out, and you're like, oh, well, what if they did this? What if we added this into it? And then you're like, wow, this is on an Atari 2600 game. Like they ported Halo to the Atari 2600. Like it's a super
What?
dumbed down version, but there is a Halo game for the Atari 2600.
Wow, that's crazy.
I
I
wonder.
never thought I'd hear that
I'll see
being
if I
done.
can look up some gameplay footage. Essentially, I'm pretty sure Halo, Atari 2600. Let's see. Will that show? Oh yeah, here we go. Walkthrough. Let's see if I can share
Double
this here.
kill, triple kill.
So it's like, oh, okay. And I think even I played a version of like a Sonic the Hedgehog. on Atari, essentially. But
Killing spree.
if you guys are watching on YouTube,
That's amazing.
then you can check out this here. I'll skip ahead a little bit, but
Looks like a bunch of little Zelda guys.
so it's kind
Oh no,
of
that looks like Master Chief. I can see his mask now.
so it almost looks like they use Berserk as like the way he's walking kind of around, but the very basic. It's green and black, and then you got a
There's some
yellow visor.
trees. Oh, dude, there's a Spartan.
So this is Halo 2600
This
walkthrough.
is legit.
11 years ago, this came out.
Wow.
So like that's freaking cool if you're into so you got to get that person that appreciates Halo but also appreciates
Atari.
Atari
I
so
think
that
that person is talking to you right now.
so that's something you can pick and they showcase a ton of games of there. So I've certainly picked up quite a few going to that show. And sometimes they'll have con exclusives of some of these games that you can pick up. Some of them, you're just trying it out and they're still trying to get it off the ground and get it developed.
I wonder if when you start the game, does it say Slayer, King of the Hill? Did you never played Halo, so you have no idea what I'm
I have
talking
no
about, do
idea.
you?
No, nah, I never played.
Oh man.
And no Xbox stuff for me, unfortunately.
Oh man, you missed the boat, Russ.
I missed the boat. What are the ones that I have on here?
Here's one I have, Russ.
Okay.
Also given to me by
Oh,
JLove81.
yes. Super Mario
Super
Bros.
Mario 3 Mix.
Now, this was on I think it was on a James and Mike Monday, or he covered it or something. I know somewhere on the AVGN channel that game has come up.
Yeah, I think maybe Mike played it or something. Can't
But
remember. There's a lot of cool power ups. Like there's a penguin suit. There is bunny ears. Pretty neat.
yeah, it plays really, really well. Like a lot of people are taking these the Mario Brothers and because obviously it's a successful franchise and it's easy to kind of swap stuff out and you're like, here's a new Mario game.
Yep.
And this kind of borrowed power-ups from other Mario games or ideas of like newer like obviously the penguin suit was from like Mario on Wii
Yeah.
essentially and they're like all right let's put that in here
What was
and
the bunny ears from?
Bunny Ears was from a Game Boy Super Mario Land 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I was like, oh cool, let's take some of these elements and make a new Mario game. And it's almost like Mario Maker but
Yeah,
for
it is.
NES. Like it's just easier to do. I mean, it's easier to do it in Mario Maker because how it's set up. How I don't know how these people create the games
Me either.
where if they're using a program on the
Witchcraft, I'm pretty
computer.
sure.
Um Again,
You
I
don't
know
agree?
one of my buddies, the Nintendo doctor, does some homebrews and all I know is you needed like an EEPROM reader to do something to
Yep.
the ROM itself.
The
So
witchcraft.
you're transferring the pixie dust from the
I'm trying to
computer.
throw Russ off so bad and it's working.
Um, yeah, and then you got to solder it onto the board, and who knows? Then test it and see if
Yeah.
hopefully it works.
Yep. The pixie dust is what does it.
I guess so. I kept thinking that that song. What is it? The son of witchcrafter, he told me what to do. He said, "Ooh ee ooh ah ah, ting ting, walla walla, bing bang."
Isn't that from a Nintendo commercial?
Oh,
Dr.
maybe
Mario? It's from a Dr. Mario commercial.
is it? I gotta
Yeah,
look it up. I
because
think it is.
because the guy has a shrunken head in the commercial. See, it's still Nintendo related. We're on topic ish.
I don't know if the audio comes through when you're hearing these. Let's see, where is it?
See his head?
Right.
Doctor, he told me what to do. He said, ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ching, chang, walla, walla, bing, bang. That means play Dr. Mario on Game Boy.
That means play Dr. Mario. Who knew?
Ching, walla, walla, bing, bang.
So good.
That's amazing, right?
That'll be my next cosplay, the witch doctor from the Dr. Mario.
No, you need to be the guy with the small head.
Oh yeah. And that also makes me think of Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah, very very reminiscent.
Um, let's see what else was there. I was trying to think of with homebrews. I
But yeah,
did
that,
pick.
all right, go ahead.
I did pick up another game called Rolly,
Rolly.
and I think someone had reached out to me to do like a video where they're like, "Hey, if we send you this game, would you do a review and this and that?" And it was a pretty interesting game. Um, let's see. I think I did. Let's
Roly
see.
poly?
Did I not do it? I know I did like a live stream.
What's it kind of like?
So it's a platformer and you're playing, I believe, as a possum.
Ooh, I like it.
And he has the ability to roll. And then you can press a button when he's rolling, so then he would hurt um like an enemy, essentially. Here, I could bring up the gameplay. I swear I did a video. I just couldn't. I might have unlisted it for some reason. I don't know why on my channel, but I'll show you some gameplay. And I thought that was fun. I played it for a few days, and then I did end up, beating it.
You guys got dogs barking? What is that?
That was a motorcycle.
Motorcycle?
That went by. Jeez, 11:30 at night, just going through.
Revving it up.
Where are we? Roly poly.
Roly poly. Roly poly should be about those little animals, those little bugs.
So you got your little raccoon guy here.
I like him. He's cute.
So you can bounce on your enemies, and then you do get like different power ups and stuff. He's kind of floaty with his.
Why are you trying to kill that rabbit for?
He's a bad rabbit, I guess.
Rabbits and squirrels are natural enemies.
And then you get a little like potion thing there. But I thought it was pretty cute. You're in the woods, a different animal. Instead of being a hedgehog or whatnot.
He
you
kind
get
of
to be
walks around like Bugs Bunny.
Oh, right. See, there you saw him rolling there.
Yeah, he was rolling. He had a ninja star he threw.
But
he
it's
just
pretty
killed a snake. It looks
pretty
cool.
fun platformer. So this one came out. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't have like who did it.
See, it makes more sense to kill a snake. Nobody likes a snake.
Right, than a rabbit. But that one's a fun one for NES, Rolly. But now, again, with Kickstarter, a lot of these are getting traction on there because they can reach more people,
right?
Essentially, and show them like, hey, we're coming out with this game. If you guys back it, then the only downside with that is it depends how far along they are. You can back the game, and then it can take 3 years.
It can never come out, or never come out.
There is a big if people are backed it. I don't know if they did or not, but there was a project I backed that was called Mystic Searches. My buddy Joe Granado did the project. I thought it was great. He was doing a game and making a documentary, and the documentary came out. He did have some issues with like one of the artists got into a motorcycle accident, passed away, so they had to get a new artist. Like a lot of stuff happened, but this was like I think like 7-8 years ago. Game's yet to come out. But in making the game, he ended up developing something different, and he came out with something called NES Maker, which is huge for the community because essentially it's like an NES cart that you can plug in and make your own games, making it program easier, much like a Mario Maker.
Wow.
So he's kind of been focusing on that at conventions. He's gone to a bunch of conventions and I've seen him. And he actually ended up making a prequel called Mystic Origins to the game Mystic Searches. So Mystic Searches, backed on Kickstarter, still has not come out, but he made Mystic Origins and he gave me a copy because I helped him out a bunch at a few cons. And it kind of plays almost like a Star Tropics ish game. Very cool. And they had a lot of ambition and stuff what they want to do with the Mystic Searches game. So a lot of it's being held up with that. But
will Searches be for NES or something else?
Yes, yeah, NES.
So wonder. This is a question I have. Why did he go ahead and make the prequel, but then didn't make the one that they were initially set out the plan to make?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's what it's on. That's what's so weird with that on Kickstarter, where it's like, the game may or may not come out or whatever. Essentially, he had a pretty big ambition, as far as I know, of like this is what I want to do. Where he ended up he got all the money for the first game, and then he was putting it towards the documentary and this, and then he was like, oh, but then I'm gonna make NES Maker, and then so like you need money for that, and that's gonna help me make the game that I'm currently making. But now you spent that money, so you almost need to do another Kickstarter to like get more. It's a tricky circle.
I just don't understand making the prequel when you haven't even made the other game. That's all I'm trying to
Yes,
say.
yeah.
It's like you didn't have the technology, or you didn't have whatever the means to make this, but you were able to make that. I don't understand.
Right.
I'm sure there's a simple, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sure there's a explanation. I just don't get it.
So if you guys are on YouTube, I'm showing this is 2022 update of Mystic Searches that Joe posted on his channel, the new 8-bit heroes.
It looks really good.
Right.
You are spot on when you said it's Star Tropics.
Yeah. So
well, if he gets it out, it looks ridiculously good.
So I'm super excited. I do hope the backers get it. Like, to me, I'm like, it's whatever, because I did get that prequel cart essentially. So I'm like, whatever, hold me over. That's fine. So hopefully with that, they do right on that and get those people those carts. But it's again on Kickstarter. It's like you're excited for these games. I backed a few other games. I'm still kind of waiting to come out where I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I backed that. I backed a Game Boy Advance game that's coming out. I got a physical cart, and it's like, I forgot what it's called, Astro Pup or something. You play as like a dog in outer space. And I was like, all right.
You're more of a Renaissance man than me. Like Russell, like, let's support the arts. I'm like, this is gambling. Once I see the product, then I'll buy it. I'm not gonna give you money anticipating it's gonna come out. So
yeah,
Russ, you're a better man than I.
Well, and then it's a whole, okay, you back this game, you'll get updates.
Updates. Ooh, thanks for the email.
Or emails of like, hey, you back this game? Maybe you'll like this game that's also on Kickstarter.
See, but that's just marketing. You're paying for marketing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm being negative Nancy over here, poo-pooing everything.
Hey, it's good to get a devil's advocate on both sides here. But like I said, with some of these games, maybe you're more like Jay and wait till it comes out on Steam and pick it up for $5. You're only out $5. You could try the game, see if you like it. Or I mean, if you're at a convention, you could try the game, see if you like it before you do that. And before
I don't mind buying a hard copy. I would love to have a hard copy of that Cabbage Patch game. I'm just saying I ain't gonna pay for it until it's developed. I'm not gonna give you money anticipating you're gonna create this thing.
Like with this one, I bought it at a convention. So I was like, oh, it's already out. Let me just grab it from there. I didn't have to back it on Kickstarter or whatever.
I'm gonna make fraudulent Kickstarters promising games and just get people send me money.
You heard it here
End
first.
of story.
I will say, have you played any of the they made some pretty awesome Streets of Rage ROM hacks?
No, I haven't played any of those, but I feel like I've seen at least one.
I know they did one and they put Ninja Turtles in it.
That's actually the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and I had gotten that one, and super fun, because basically you always have a weapon, like, because you either have Leo's sword or Donnie's staff, and so it makes the game a little bit easier since you're like, you can't lose the weapon.
Right. That would be cool if you could lose the weapon, because I'd like to see a Ninja Turtle punch somebody.
That's true. Hand-to-hand combat, and you can do some jump kicks.
That'd be kind of rad.
So they have those. Another one I did get was great. I had gotten from my buddy, the Nintendo Doctor, was more Zombies Ate My Neighbors. So it was a sequel to Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
That's cool.
And it's literally, you take that game and just kind of make new levels. Whereas Ghoul Patrol was like the sequel to it, but it was a completely different game. Whereas this was, hey, let's take that SNES one, exact copy, and just kind of change some stuff. So it's more of what you like.
You ever heard of Zelda Outlands?
Yes, yeah.
So I have that game. I can't find it currently. I have no idea where in my room it is, and Jen gave me that as well. But it's like a ROM hack, I'm assuming, of Zelda, where like it's a lot harder and things are the map looks completely different. but it still looks like what you probably would have expected the adventure of Link to look like when it came out
Right.
before you saw the commercial.
Right. Where you're like, oh yeah, that just looks like Zelda 1, but now it's an update.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like.
And they have a ton of again, like different ROM hacks of Zelda. Again, they stick to those core franchises. Metroid being
Yep.
another one. They've done different Metroid ROM hacks. I've seen some really impressive ones where it was there's a version out there somewhere of like Metroid Prime but in 2D.
But wow,
And
that's crazy.
I was like, okay, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, I gotta finish Prime.
How far along are you? Did you get past the first level yet?
I'm in what I would consider level 1 still, and there was a part where I was playing it the other night, and all these flies kind of come out of the
Mhm.
ship and circle around you real fast. And you try to
Oh,
shoot the
yes.
flies, but I was playing it on my Switch Lite, and my hand was cramping up because I was like, oh god, this thing's so tiny. So I think I'm gonna have to. I don't know. Do you know if it saves on the game or if it saves on the Switch? Because basically, what I want to do is I want to put it in my regular Switch, dock it, and play with the Pro controller. But I'm
I
wondering if
think
I'm gonna have to start over
yeah, I think it might save to
to the
I don't know.
console and not the
Right.
cart.
Right, to your profile in console. I mean, just I guess it's not gonna hurt to pop it in, but
I mean, I'm only one level in. I can redo the intro level over. It's no big deal. But basically, I was at this point, yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't like playing it on the tiny little Switch Lite. My hand didn't like that.
fair enough.
Just stick to the 2D.
Stick to the 2D. Yeah, I did play. I'm trying to remember the name of them. They basically did like a Metroid game that took place before Metroid. I think it was called Metroid Dawn. I want to say. I think that was it. It looked okay. It was very minimalistic, I guess you could say.
Gotcha.
Metroid Rogue Dawn.
Rogue Dawn.
Like they didn't put a whole lot to the backgrounds of it, I guess so to say. I don't know.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, I got it a while ago. I didn't get a physical cart. I ended up getting the like download code or whatever. But let's see.
Oh, that's cool. You got a code? Will they send it to you to review? Oh wow, she looks really cool.
Yeah, so Samus is like almost in like her Zero suit.
The aliens are very Super Metroid-esque.
Oh, right, the space pirates there.
Space pirates, thank you.
But see how there's a lot of black in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, it still looks pretty impressive, I would say. And she plays a little bit different. You get different power-ups. I didn't get super far in it, but I thought it was neat where you're like, okay, you like that franchise, Metroid, and you want something different. But you like that old school game, so like here you go.
The enemies look similar.
Right. Well, it's again, since it's I don't know if this would count as a ROM hack or a homebrew, since I don't know if they're borrowing any of the code.
Right.
They could have written all this or whatever from the ground up. So this kind of borders that.
I kind of like the aesthetic.
Yeah. So I didn't get super far. This is, I assume, a full playthrough, hour and a half. 6 years ago, someone put this up.
Scroll forward a little bit. Does it ever get lighter, or is it
That's
always?
what I'm trying to see. Yeah, it's almost like I mean,
a little bit of green, a little bit of color, like on the landscape, but the background's still very blase.
And then eventually you get to like I don't know, laboratory area.
Spoil the ending, Russ. Let's see who she fights. Spoiler alerts for those of you wanting to play this. I want to see that
too far.
I want to see the.
So
there's some Metroids. Oh, that's sick.
There's a big Metroid, okay, and little one. Yeah, so different sizes.
That's the mom Troid.
The mom Troid.
It's a terrible joke. Thank you for laughing.
Where is the? Oh, I don't know if this. Oh, so that might be.
So the mom Troid is like Mother Brain.
Yes, it's almost kind of set up similar to that. So where they borrowed, like you're jumping on platforms or whatever to shoot the Mother Brain there. Okay, and then you're gonna get your timer to get out. Pretty neat. Metroid Rogue Dawn. Again, ROM hack / I guess homebrew.
That's cool. I like that.
So there's tons of them too nowadays. Like if you just type in NES ROM hack, or again too, I mean, we've been mostly talking about NES, but they're for all systems. They're coming out with new N64 games, Jaguar games. I've seen
That's crazy.
that come out. Trying to think, Atari 2600. We said
I wonder if there's any TurboGrafx ones.
I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure. I did just buy a Game Boy one, and I did a live stream of it, and that was super fun. Original Game Boy one.
What was it called?
Bella. What was it? I have it over here. Bella Zappa.
Belladonna.
Bella something.
My lovely wife Donna. Anybody ever seen Kenny Powers? That's Ashley Schaefer from Ashley Schaefer BMW.
It's Batty Zabella.
Oh yeah, you showed this a few weeks ago.
So it's a point and click adventure game. Retro Room is the company that put it out, and it looks like Elvira essentially.
Yeah.
Super fun. This was like, I think it was like $30, like shipped with the cart and box.
Is that bad or good?
Well, when I bought it, I was very confused because I was like, I thought I was buying cart only, and then it came with the box, and I was like, oh. And it's like a good quality box. It has like this like hologram thing on the side, and
yeah, Retro Room.
I was like, heck yeah, I'll get a new Game Boy game for that and support some people.
See, there he is, supporting the arts.
And again, like when I go to these conventions, usually I try to look for, a new homebrew game, or ROM hack or whatever, and try to pick that up. Because I'm like, I've already seen all these, most of these NES games, or I have them. So it's like, this is something new for an old system that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
We did have 2 comments on our YouTube page.
That was just me going, woohoo!
I posted kind of late, so that's okay. Well, we'll see what you guys had to say.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
Let's see. So you can go to our community page, essentially, if you want to get in on the topics here. So we asked you guys, and we got Nexus said, one new game I've played in the past few years is called Micro Mages. A 1 to 4 player action platformer that manages to do a lot with a little. Now, Micro Mages I played at, again, Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and this was like a phenomenal game and achievement for the NES, for it to be running on NES and what they were doing with it. And they did some tricks. I talked to the guys for a little bit and how they saved memory on the game, where they would like mirror the sprite to like, so like it wouldn't take up more room, so it's just a mirror image,
right?
I'll have to use that many blocks or whatever. But yeah, the sprites you play as are so small. It's not as big as you would see Mario. It's almost smaller than mini Mario.
Wow.
But super fun game. That one came out. I have yet to purchase it. At the time when I was playing it, they didn't have any there. They either were still in development or what. And then we also got Rodney Torres. What's up, Russ? The only new NES game I've purchased is Full Quiet, that I bought because of your video of it. Next on the list is going to be the Garbage Pail Kids.
There you go.
So those are the 2 that I have.
Russ has got the pink card up there on the video. On the picture.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I chose the more rare because it popped off the background.
Looks good. So did they not have the pink one as an option when you were there?
So you purchased it like this, sealed, so you didn't know what you had. So then when I got home,
inside.
I did an unboxing and I was like, had the blue.
Had the blue.
They said, whatever the chances of, okay, we made 50 pinks and 400 blue or whatever, the odds are.
1 in 4.
Let's do that math.
Actually, I have no idea if that's correct. I think 1 in 8, actually. 1 in 8.
Fair enough. But if you guys want to call into the show, we do have a phone number. It's 949-682-9277. You guys can leave a voicemail. Maybe tell us about some topics you want to hear, or suggestions, or just tell us how we're doing.
Or what should we change in the background slightly for you to look at?
Maybe I'll get different blushes back here and see if anyone notices. I do have this sweet pillow no one's seeing. It's the TV of the.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
It's a CRT TV, but it has the Ninja Turtles water level
That's
in it.
amazing.
I have that back there, but you can't see it because it's behind me.
I have what's the word? Anxiety just looking at it.
Fair enough. We did want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. We got Dan and Nicole's Treasures Untold, Joe Sheevy, Trace Limigood, Samantha Chang, Rodney Torres, Retroholic16 supporting the show. You can sign up over at patreon.com/Russ Lyman. It's under my stuff, and essentially I just put the money towards podcast of monthly fees. And so it helps us out with that.
Yep.
So any tier is much appreciated. The top tier guys like that, we give shout outs and they can tell me what games I'm going to live stream and all that.
Help Rusty Man out.
Right. Jay just shows up essentially.
I'm just here.
I'm doing all the work.
Supporting cast. I do nothing. I don't even send the pictures Rust asked for.
I know. I'm trying to do thumbnails to make it variety, so it's not always me on the thumbnail. I'm like, maybe I'll throw Jay because people will see him, and I'm like, I can't get any. Just send me like 8 stock photos of you and like maybe a few different shirts.
Yeah,
take still frames from this.
I keep telling Russ I'm going to do it, and I just find ways to get busy and not do it. So one day I will surprise him, and when I do, he will have a heart attack, and then the show will be over.
Fair enough. But yeah, check out theweeklywarpipe.com. That's our website. You can get merch on there. You can see what episodes we have. And I do have a newsletter going out on there. So if you go to Warpipe, there's like a newsletter tab. You can sign up for it bi-weekly. It's coming out. I just put out my second issue yesterday. So I think there's like 30 people signed up. So that's awesome.
Cool.
Trying to see if we could get to maybe 50 by the end of the month or so.
Sign up.
So spread the word.
That's right.
That pretty much wraps it up. You could catch us every Saturday at 7 a.m. or you could come back Wednesday at 7 a.m. for the shorter show, Warpipe Wednesday.
It'll be a treat either way.
That's right. As always, guys, I'm Russ Lyman. Keep your world fun bit by bit. Later.